So what is this crazy thing called triathlons, and why the heck am I training for and competing in them? So a little known fact, or maybe a big known fact in the triathlon community, but triathlons are one of the fastest growing multi-sports in the world. And guess who's leading the charge? Yep, women like me between 35 to 49, and they're taking to it in droves. Now, you might ask yourself, why the heck would you want to swim in a cold lake or in an ocean or in a river? Then get out of that lake, pull your wetsuit off, run along to your bike, get on your bike and cycle. And then after you've cycled, depending if it's a flat race or a hilly race, then you get to do the run. And only then you get to cross the finish line. I don't know, maybe it's this little thing called personal challenge, and the fact that it is one of the most challenging multi-discipline sports out there. And with great challenge comes pushing your boundaries. Get back. And also the massive reward from just knowing that you trained for something and then you turned up, you committed, you did it, and you crossed that finish line. And it's just this amazing sense of, wow, I am capable. I unlocked some more of my potential today. I stretched myself in ways that I didn't know. I dug deep from in here and I brought out my best. And I was there doing it with all these other crazy, wonderful people who are on their own personal journey, all there for different reasons. And they've all fallen in love with this sport called triathlon. So I just wanted to share with you a little bit about my experience, because I think it's always great to go behind the scenes on this. Around 3 months ago in November, I started training properly for this sprint triathlon in Kinloch, Taupo, New Zealand. Now, 3 months is not a huge amount of time, but the distance is actually also quite short. So if you are already an experienced athlete or pretty fit, you're going to think that a 750 meter swim followed by a 20k, in this case, very hilly bike, and then followed by a 5k run is probably no sweat. You could get up tomorrow morning and do that. Well, good for you. I certainly couldn't. I hadn't been swimming in a long time, and even though I'm quite a capable swimmer, I found out that I'm not actually that fast. So I have good technique, but there's just so much that I can improve on. And swimming in a pool is completely different to swimming in an ocean with waves and salt water, or in a lake with, lots of people kicking and smacking you. And in my case, in this race, swimming over the top of me, but more on that later. In terms of the running, I've always had a love-hate relationship. And this year I was determined to turn that into a love of running, because running gives you freedom. So that's my new mantra, that's my new reframe. And as a result, I really look forward to running now. And I've gotten better at it, faster at it, compared to when I did my first splash and dash, a short swim in the ocean and then a run. I mean, you should have seen the photos of me. In fact, I think I might put one up on screen here. That's not a pretty sight. I was so tired and so exhausted compared to at this race where I was feeling a lot fitter, a lot stronger, and just running with more potential and also more purpose. And then, of course, the cycle. So as you may know, I did cycle down Africa in 2012, and that was around 6,500 kilometers, and showing up each day doing between anywhere from 90 to 160 kilometers a day. You'd have thought that that might sort of still be with me in my muscle memory, and I think in good news it is, but it doesn't mean you can just jump on a bike again and be totally good with it. But I will say that I think the biking is, for me right now, the most fun part, followed by the run and then the swim. And this is the joy and beauty of a triathlon. It just is constantly messing with your mind and pushing you in ways that you didn't know were possible. And every time you turn up to a training or a race, there's going to be stuff going on in your mind and these little stories that you're telling yourself that you have to overcome, and these limits that you have to push through, and these messages about what you're capable of that you have to absolutely just put to rest and create a new narrative. So that's what I've really loved about triathlons. So I'm just going to give you some highlights of the day with some awesome footage that I captured. So first of all, Kinloch is a pretty stunning place to hold a triathlon. And then we did a little bit of scoping of the actual course, which is where we were a little surprised how hilly the bike ride was.
Okay, so this is transition area is in here. The red is the bike. This is like scientific right here.
I know we're swimming in that lake. We got the opportunity to watch some of the elite triathletes doing one of the fastest time trials. I was just amazed at how quick these athletes are. And some of them have been doing it since they were like 7 years old. Which brings me to race day and that excited feeling as you're prepping for the big day. Here she goes. All right, make sure you stick the sticker on the right way, Natalie. It's race day and Joshua came up with an ingenious idea to use the handle off my bag to be able to put this round for the run, because otherwise I would have had to pin this to my suit, which just isn't going to be cool. So yay, thank you Josh for the bag handle race belt. And now I just love to show you a little bit of me on the course in the heart of the actual race. Unfortunately there's none of me on the back roads where it was super hilly and the majority of the ride took place, but this will just give you a little bit of a snippet of some of the highlights of the day, including a photo finish that you might not be expecting.
Alright, well done. How you feeling?
That was mainly fun, kind of brutal. The swim, I got swum over twice, which wasn't that much fun. The bike ride was fantastic. I loved whizzing down the hills and I overtook people going up, so that felt good. And then I had not a lot in the run. I was hoping for a strong second lap and I think I was slower. But I had fun most of the time, so I'll be back. And thank you to Josh for being such an awesome vlog master.
So all up, it was just a fantastic experience. I hit some of my own personal records that I wanted to do in each of the disciplines, at least in the bike and the run. Overall, I was really happy that I competed and I completed this event, because it had been something that was the main thing I was training for the last 3 months, and now I have my next finish lines lined up and a whole bunch of events. And by the end of this year, I'm going to put it out there, I am aiming to do a half Ironman. Woo, it's a big deal. So to put it in perspective, that is 4 times the distance of the race that I just did on the weekend gone. 4 times the distance. It's going to be a whole lot more training and a whole lot more pain and goodness and challenges and suffering and rewards and stretching and personal best being broken, and it's going to be a journey. But for now, I think the biggest takeaway from this triathlon is to just never compare yourself to anybody else. Nothing compares to you. I did a little bit of a video on that and I will link to that below because it's so important. And here I was out on this day comparing myself with the rest of the field, realizing, or maybe not remembering, that this was a National Sprint Triathlon race. So a lot of the best triathletes who have been doing this for years came out to compete. And here I was 3 months in, wanting to do my best, hoping to be a little bit more in the middle of the field, and just comparing myself with these people who have so much more experience. So that was a good lesson learned to not do that. But the competitive side of me is really excited now about stretching myself, about where I need to improve. And like anything, you always learn the lesson. So I took notes after the race. I even went over some of it with my coach, Nathan, who I've been working with. And here's a little snippet from that. Yeah, Coach, what did you think of my performance at Kinloch?
I think it's awesome. Like back when we set your goal to do Kinloch, you know, you'd never done it before, and I think I'm really proud that you turned up and you achieved your goal and you crossed it off. So performance-wise, I think those goals that you sent me, because at the end of the day, everyone, I think the reward that comes out of doing this is realising what you're capable of. And the thing for you was you emailed me and you said, these are the goals I have for each discipline, and you actually ended up getting pretty close to all of those in terms of a time perspective. So I think from a performance view, it's more about a personal achievement. And so for you, that I think you can be proud of that. So it's given you a platform really to work off. So this is your performance chart, if you will. So this here just reflects the work that you put in basically since November last year. And that blue line there represents your rise in fitness. So you can see that you had a really steady build up. And if we saw that start to drop down, that would mean that your consistency of training would have dropped. So we didn't see that. And you put in lots of work and and surprise, you achieved your goal, so thumbs up for performance.
And all in all, I celebrated the fact that this was just one stepping stone in the journey of my commitment to doing triathlons. I feel like this is kind of a life journey. I feel like I found a sport in amongst ultimate frisbee and tennis and skiing and all the other things I love that will stick with me for life. This is a commitment. And it's one that I'm ready to make. So triathlon, you hooked me in. You got me. I'm here. I'm doing it. An Ironman or half Ironman, I'm coming for you.